Yeah, we're recording now. Just give another minute, will we, before we start?
Yeah.
Now we're at 7:02.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hello, welcome first of all, and thank you for taking the time to join our webinar this evening, where we want to take in what the new normal looks like for our Swim for Life, our swimming lessons here at Athlone Regional Sports Centre. We're joined here this evening by Charlie, who's our Swim for Life coordinator, and you'll know him well, been on poolside, seen him on pools for the last number of years, and also Anna, who looks after our marketing and communications here at the Sports Centre. So just before we start, just to explain, you may have some questions over the webinar, etc. Just at the bottom of your screen, you'll be able to see a Q&A section. And the Q&A section, you can populate that by asking any questions you want. Hopefully, we'll cover them over the webinar, but if we don't, we'll certainly address them at the very end. Also, there's a chat box there where you can put in various chats or topics that you may want addressed over the webinar. Now, just to let you know, this webinar is recorded for communication purposes, and we'll be uploading it up to our on our website in the next day or so. So people who couldn't make the webinar tonight will be able to see it then. So tonight, we just want to go through, give an overview, firstly, I suppose, of the new government guidelines on COVID-19, what it means to, I suppose, Athlone Regional Sports Centre, how we have to interpret it, and the protocols we have to put in place to ensure your safety and those of your children, and obviously our staff here at the Regional Sports Centre. Charlie will speak about our customer survey, where we had over 700 responses, which was outstanding and gave us fantastic information regarding our swimming lessons, and it gave us a lot of guidance on how to run the swimming lessons, or how best to, I suppose, address your concerns as we go forward here in the Sports Centre. He'll also touch on the new swim journey based on the government guidelines, and also the effect it has on other pool sessions here at the Sports Centre. What's happening regarding the March to June just gone by. So obviously we closed on March the 15th last, which is, believe it or not, 18 weeks ago. And what has happened in the meantime, and regarding the March to June course, when that's going to be now held, and what we're doing over the summer regarding swimming lessons and our return to swim course. And then obviously, as we just mentioned, we will take questions and answers. So just to start with, the government roadmap that came out initially said that we would reopen on August 10th for the gym and July the 12th for the pool. And then as the weeks went on, both were going to be allowed open on July the 20th. And then as late as June the 25th, the government announced that both gyms and swimming pools could open on June the 29th. So obviously, we have to follow the government guidelines. I think they've been very clear and very, very good. But also, it's very important for us that we took that additional weeks up until today, July the 13th, to open, because that gave us the time to make sure that we got these protocols right and these new ways of operating correct, so we can ensure that what we're doing is correct and that we're operating to the safest and best of standards. So our trade body for the gym industry or for the fitness industry, for all the swimming pools, Pilates studios, hotels, swimming pools, leisure centres, etc., that trade body is Ireland Active. And Ireland Active, their offices are in Dublin on the Sports Ireland campus. And they released their government guidelines, which was the framework for discussion with Ireland Active members on the operation of leisure centres, etc. They're on version 3 of those now. So version 1 came out in May, and version 2 and version 3, which came out in late June. So we look at those guidelines and we interpret those. Additionally, then in the fitness industry, you have in the UK, you would have the UK Active, and then Europe Active would be the overall umbrella for the European Fitness Association, and they're funded by the European Commission. So that's just some background on the various trade bodies involved in it. So the indexed into the Ireland Active guidelines, you can see on page 13 the references to the swimming pool area, be it in showers, lockers, but also the operation of the swimming pool area. And that's what I'm just going to briefly touch on. So in that document, at the very top, it speaks about, say, the pool water guidelines and the appropriate chlorine guidelines, etc. It references the HSE. It speaks about the social distancing, and then bather loads. So we could have up to 50 people in the water adhering to the Ireland Active guidelines. And Charlie will address that in terms of the change rooms, because that's for physical distancing and social distancing. That's probably the biggest barrier we have to overcome is our changing rooms. It also, on the guidelines, it references swimming lessons for children, and obviously Swim Ireland, the guidance Swim Ireland gave. So this document in Ireland Active would have worked together to produce guidelines, and that's why they map together on that. And then at the very bottom of the page, on page 13, it speaks about the showers and lockers. And this is very, very important for us to get across so that you understand. In terms of the Ireland Active guidelines, they discourage and reduce the use of changing rooms in their initial reopening phases. So gym exercises that come into the facility, they're advised to come in training attire, and when they're finished their workout, they go home. It's obviously not as simple for people in the water, because they need to be able to dry. So we obviously have to make sure that we have drying facility change rooms. But going by the Ireland Active guidelines, we can't have showers. So that's why people towel dry on the way out after the swim. And the guys have worked very, very hard here to make sure that the flow of that works very efficiently. So to give you just a further background just on the guidelines, the way the Ireland Active guidelines go to get government approval is, you can see just on the second paragraph, where the expert group on the return to sport that was set up by the department, that was set up in May, they would have looked and assessed the Ireland Active protocol. And they're pleased to say on paragraph 3 that they were satisfied with the phase 2 protocol submitted, and they would place that on the government's website. So they were the guidelines then that we follow. And sometimes the government will bring out their own guidelines, but on this occasion they were well satisfied that the Ireland Active guidelines satisfied everything with regard to sports centres, leisure centres, swimming pools, etc. So just moving on then, what do we do in that capacity? Well, first of all, we have to think of you in swimming lessons, at the parent and the child, and obviously the staff here in the centre. And we have to update and review all our risk assessments regarding COVID-19. What are the risks associated? How we prevent them or eliminate them, or certainly limit anything happening? And then we have to develop our procedures based on these guidelines. All our staff have taken part in COVID return to work training, and then all our duty managers and all our managers were put on the COVID officer training. So it makes sure that there's always a COVID officer in the building at all times. Any staff then on their way into work obviously had to complete return to work 3 days in advance before they come in, and also then their temperature checked when they come into the building. Social distancing, as you will see in the media, has probably the biggest impact in most industries, be it in retail, hospitality, but also in our building. And the 2 meter has a huge impact on how we operate. So we have to ensure the physical distancing is kept as we can, but obviously we need your help to ensure that happens. We have to restrict numbers, and the government guidelines at the moment, while they indicate we can have 50 in each room, so we could have 50 in the swimming pool, the guideline or the capacity of our change rooms is much less, and Charlie will address that shortly with the capacities and why we've had to reduce the numbers down in the various areas. Also, we have to make sure we address self-declaration and the contact tracing procedures so that we can ensure that the people that come into the building, we have their details, when they're in the building, at what time, and who they would have been in contact with. Obviously, hygiene and sanitization are very, very important. So we increased the number of sanitization units right across the building. There's over 30 sanitization units within the building alone. We've minimized the contact points, so you will see a lot of doors left open. So the flow is very, very good. So there's less things to touch. And we're also mindful that the virus is airborne. So we would have removed a lot of items that would have airflow. So for example, in the gym, rowers and stuff, but also in the pool, hair dryers, for example, we have to omit them and put them out of use for the time being, because as the virus is airborne, they could transfer that virus further than the 2 meters people are asked to keep apart. Regular cleaning, so the change rooms are cleaned before and after every session, and that's just to make sure that they're disinfectant and everything is wiped down and cleaned. Additionally, we have purchased electrostatic sprayers, which are the best way or the most efficient way we found of dealing with COVID-19. So to give you just some background on those, the electrostatic sprayers, they wrap around a surface when they spray the disinfectant, and the disinfectant that we're given is proven to kill the COVID-19 if it was on a surface. So by spraying these electrostatic sprayers, it wraps around the surface, so we get everything even with just one spray. And additionally, obviously, all change rooms, bathrooms, lockers, touch points, they're sanitized between sessions. So before I pass you over to Charlie, who's going to speak about the customer survey, I'd just like to thank you for your time. And again, just to remind you, if you have any questions, just populate them in the questions and answer section at the bottom of the page, and we'll take them at the very end of the session. Thank you. Over to you, Charlie.
Thanks, Liam. I was going to say it's very nice to see you all, but that will be another week or so. But yeah, it's great to get a chance to get so many people on, and it's great to be opened again today. So we're looking forward to hopefully seeing children back here in the centre very soon. And we just want to, I suppose, give you a little bit of information first on the survey that we sent out, because that was really helpful, as Liam said, in terms of informing some of the decisions we were trying to make. And it definitely had an impact on what we have done since then. So I suppose one of the questions we asked was about what people's key concerns are. And the big one, the one that, not surprisingly, that's most people came back on, was the changing room capacity. So we all know the changing rooms are generally busy places. So changing room capacity at the moment, it was a major issue. The social distancing, of course, which the two are directly related, was very important to people, and as was other customers' behaviour. So hopefully that will be sort of addressed through all the communications we're putting out and the signage in here, and just the good practices in general that we're trying to I suppose, encourage people to take part in. To address the change room capacity straight away, the first thing we're doing there is, for the time being, we're going to limit capacity in each of the 4 main dressing rooms to just 6 people, 6 swimmers. And that's a big step, obviously, because it completely limits how many we can have swimming at any one time. So it brings us, if you do the maths quickly, it brings us to 24 swimmers is the max we're going to be able to have in the pool in the short term. And, you know, whereas the pool itself could cater for 50, we just can't do that in the changing room. So we think that the changing rooms will be safe. The spots are marked out. We'll show you that in a while. The other thing we're going to do is if some people probably have seen the swim journey already, might have seen the video, we're going to have a one-way system for kids coming in. So in through one door, a different door, different changing area on the way in and the way out, and a different exit door. We have the signage, the floor graphics in place, and I said there about no physical contact between teachers and children. So what we mean there is that in the lower levels 1 to 3, there would be a lot of direct contact between the teachers and children, where it's a very much a hands-on lesson. And for the time being, just over July and August, we're going to have to exclude those 3 levels and just run lessons for level 4 upwards for the summer. And then with hopefully the changes we are really hoping will happen, particularly with children going back to school when decisions will have to be made about that, we're hoping that we'll be able to address that then from September and get everyone back swimming. We've adopted the pool layout, the width of the lanes. If your children are in levels 8 or above, we've doubled the lane widths so that they're always 2 meters apart swimming up and down. We've adopted our lesson plans as well. And we've had our staff all involved. So last week we had 25 swim teachers in here. We went through we tested the session. The teachers got into the water themselves and went through the lesson plans. And then since then, we've also had a group of children in as well when we made that video. So it gave us a chance to try, to try out and make sure that everything should run smoothly for us. I'm going to show you that swim video now, hopefully, if this works for me. What do you think, Anna? It's new share, isn't it? Bear with me 1 second now. Have we got it up?
Yeah.
We have the video.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, good. So I'll just talk you through this. So on the way in, first of all, we'll be asking that instead of going in the main entrance, you come across the car park and you turn left, walking down the left-hand side of the building to enter at the far end of the pool, what would be the deep end. You're just following the signs along there. We're asking also that people don't arrive any more than 10 minutes beforehand, just to avoid a build-up of people around the building and inside the building. And the really key thing for the kids is that they come with their swim togs under their clothes for the moment. When they get up to the door, you'll see there's a sanitizing station there. So just to wipe the hands. Family groups coming in together there, so you can see. And you're now going to be walking down the corridor, which is parallel to the pool. And here we've the floor markings down. So each family is 2 meters apart there. And when you come in, the pre-swim changing area will be the spectators area for now. So that's a little bit different, and that's why we're asking the children to come with their togs on. So this will be just on the way in. We have signage down on the benches there, so they're all 2 meters apart, and we can cater for between 24 and 28 children along there. What we have done also is we've put barriers, you'll see there, in place just to protect kids, make sure no one falls. And the question we've been asked quite a bit is, can parents help the children change? So what we're saying there is, what we're asking, if your child is able to dress by themselves, or particularly on the way in there, that they can do that, ideally. But of course, if your child needs help, if they need help, it is possible for the parent to help out there. We're just asking that they stay within the same place, the same spot, so that there's not too many people congregated along there. So after they've taken off their clothes, they'll have put them into their bags, and the swim coordinator, myself or Jerry, and the swim teachers will then show the kids where to place their bags. So at either end of the pool, there's a bag drop area, and the teachers will show them to their places. Then in the lessons, so for now, we're only going to be in a typical sort of width scenario. We're only going to run 2 groups at any one time. So you'll have a level 6 group at the deep end and a level 4 group in the shallow end. And then the next class will be a level 5 group and a level 7 group. That's down to numbers, 20 children because of the dressing rooms. The children will all be spaced out. On the pool side, we have our 2-meter markers. So when they swim across, they'll climb up, they'll wait on the marker. And that way we can keep the 2-meter distance at all points in the water and out of the water. Okay. The other thing is the teachers themselves, as we said, will avoid just any sort of physical contact where they might be demonstrating with a child. And or any equipment we use, so floats, for example, will be sanitized between each lesson. After the lesson is over, we have, I just pause this for a sec here. So here's a typical changing room. On the ground, you'll have your changing points with stickers on the ground, and they're all 2 meters apart. So there's 6 points in each changing room. The same here. I don't think it mentions it in the video if you were listening to the video. The same situation here. If you do need to help your child, that's possible. But if you can avoid that, that's even better. The showers won't be in use. So we can't have showers at the moment. So children will come in, they'll dry off and put on their clothes, obviously, change and put on their clothes before they leave. So here we have the bag drop. I'm ahead of the video now, so bear with me a sec. Oh, yeah. On the first day of the lessons, the children will be told what changing room they're in. So male 1, female 1, or male 2, female 2. And they'll keep that changing room for each of the weeks. So there you have the kids on the way out. And when they come out, they turn immediate left. So there's an exit there just at the left of the changing rooms, and there's a sanitizing station there again on the way out. And that means that they're avoiding the reception area at all times. So they're avoiding meeting up with people going to the gym or fitness classes. And that's safe for everyone, we hope. So that's the video. I'll just go back to the presentation, hopefully. Bear with me a sec.
Yep, you're back up there, Charlie.
Okay, just get the right slide now. Okay, so just, I'm sure there are a lot of people here who may use the pool themselves. So just to make sure that there's no confusion, as an adult member, or if you're coming for a family swim, an open swim session on a Saturday or Sunday or whenever, the entrance is through the front door as normal. So the entrance is different for the lessons. So you're coming in for a normal swim session, you're coming in through the front door, the sanitizing station on the way in. If you're a member and you have your band, you make your way directly up to the turnstile, and it's important that you scan your band there. So for contact tracing purposes, it's really important. If you're a pay and go customer, you'll have booked online, and you will just pass by reception here on the way in. You'll have been allocated a changing room when you book. So you'll know what changing room you're coming to. And you saw the layout already of the changing room, so you can see there the changing points. The lockers will be available, but as we said, no showers. And the time, I didn't mention this there, it will be the same for children as it will be for adults. There's a 15-minute change time. So we're asking that people try and stick to that as much as possible, because we're then going to have the cleaning team coming in, and they're going to cover the changing rooms, the bathrooms, the lockers, and all touch points will be sanitized between the sessions. So we're going to allow, in general, 30 minutes between sessions. And that will give you time to change, and the cleaning time to get in, cleaners time to get in, and 5 minutes in for the next group. Okay, and the same exit when you come out. Same exit. Okay, so moving on then just to the courses. We had just taken bookings, obviously, for the March to June course when we had to close down, and we had about 10 days left in the current course. We asked the question, which option would people prefer? Would they prefer start back straight away with the 12-week course, or wait till September? And there was a great interest in starting now, but there was a much bigger proportion of people would prefer start that 12-week block in September. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to move that course from March to June to September, and anyone who was booked and paid into that their booking will be moved. Now, if for some reason I've had one or two people on who won't be here in September for various reasons, of course, if that happens, we'll offer a credit or a refund. But otherwise, your booking will move to September the 7th. We won't take any further bookings just yet because we're going to wait and see what what happens in terms of social distancing, if it will be reduced, because that will have an impact on our changing room. So we won't take any more bookings just for now. And there was also, I suppose, a little bit of feedback in terms of our communication about the lessons that were cancelled. So just to clarify it in case anyone is a little bit unsure, when the pool closed in January for the issue with the roof, we added on the weeks at the end of the last course. So those weeks were added on, and that was how they were compensated for. In the last 10 days of the course, I think we stopped our lessons on the Friday night, and people who booked in for the new course, some of you were already compensated for missing those days. So we gave a reduced price on the booking. But some of you, particularly people who come on Mondays and Tuesdays, weren't, and you will now be credited. Anyone who comes on Mondays and Tuesdays will be credited for the week that was missed. So everyone will get what they're due, and you can be sure of that. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can come to us on that. So we did have over 50% of people who came back to us. So that's over 350 people or so who came back and said, look, we'd like to have a summer course. And we asked, would you prefer an intensive swim week, which is what we usually do in the summer, where we have one lesson every day, Monday to Friday, or would you prefer one day a week over a longer period? So more people prefer that option. So we are going to go with that. We're going to put on a 6-week course, one lesson weekly, and it will start from next Monday. So there will be options on lessons on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So hopefully, for anyone who's interested in coming back, you'll be able to find a time slot that suits. We think we've put on enough places based on the response we got in the survey to cater for everyone. And we do, of course, as I mentioned earlier, for this course, have to cater just for level 4 upwards. So level 4 to level 10, and also SwimFit. And you'll remember earlier on, this won't obviously be ideal for everyone, but if you have a child in level 4 and level 5 and level 6, 3 different children, they won't all be swimming at the same time because we can only have 2 groups in there in the width situation. So we will run the lessons one after the other. So levels 4 and level 6 will go at 9:30. Level 5 and level 7 will go at 10:10. We're leaving a 10-minute gap to get organized in between and for the cleaning purposes. And then level 8, 9, and 10 will follow after that. We'll also have some afternoon classes, and an email went out in the last 2 hours with the full details. So if you haven't seen that, check your email or check maybe your spam box because they can end up there as well. So full details are there. Let me see. Yeah, so bookings for that. We're going to open bookings from tomorrow. So from tomorrow morning, just to split it in case there's a lot of calls, and we know how frustrating that can be at times. We're going to split it. So if you're interested in booking for Monday or Tuesday, then you can call us tomorrow morning anytime after 10:30. And if you're interested in booking for Wednesday or Thursday, just hold off until Wednesday morning if that's okay, and we'll look after you then. It may be busy at that time in the morning, but we really believe we'll get everyone looked after. So we just ask maybe for your patience, and it might spread out across the day, but we'll look after you, and we'll get everyone booked in who wants to. So that's it. I may have gone a bit quick and I might have rushed through stuff. So feel free, if you have questions, pop them in the box, in the Q&A box or in the chat box. And I think Anna is going to read back the questions to us, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Thank you, Charlie. I've got a good few questions here. So I'll start with a question on if someone has multiple children in lessons, so say level 4, 7 and 8, for example.
Yeah.
And that 1 week, say, the mother might take them swimming, and due to work commitments, the following week the father might take them swimming.
Yeah.
How will that work with the changing rooms? Also, if they have younger children and a baby coming in as well, will that be okay to go in and assist the younger children changing? So
Okay.
kind of 2 questions there in one.
That's a new one for me. I didn't think about that. Okay, so the first of all, just to address the baby one, because that's maybe a little bit easier, in that we are asking that where possible, that only one person accompanies the child into the lessons. So ideally, if you have a couple of children, we're asking that you don't bring them into the dressing room to help. It's going to clog up the dressing room, and social distancing won't be possible then. If you've got a baby and you're carrying the baby in your arms, I think that won't be such a problem. If it's just a child, the baby you're bringing in with you. But again, prams would be an issue there, or buggies. Sorry, prams was in my day. Buggies would be an issue there in the changing room. But then in terms of a different parent bringing the children each week, again, I'm assuming there that the children all those children need help. So we'll have to have a think about that because there would be an issue there with the numbers. We have to have even numbers of children in every lesson. So we're planning to have equal number of boys and girls in every lesson. So I'll have to have a think about that. And whoever's asked that question, if they were to give me a call tomorrow, I'll consider a solution between now and then and see if we can come up with one. That was long-winded. Apologies.
So I've got another question here regarding the course. So I know the email's gone out this evening. What is the price of the 6-week course this time?
Yeah, sure. So it will be half what the normal rate would be. So if you normally pay, if you've one child and you're a non-member, it's €97 normally. Well, then it will be half of that, which is around 48.50, I think. Yeah. And it will, whatever your normal rate is, it would be half that amount for the 6 weeks.
Thank you, Charlie. So I've just got a question here again regarding numbers of the pool. So if 24 are allowed in the pool, how do you accommodate the other children, that want to get in?
I'm assuming, there's a difference whether it's to July, the summer course, or September. So for the summer course, we believe we've put on enough lessons. We've scheduled in enough lessons. When you see the timetable that's gone out in the email, we believe there's enough there to cover everyone who might be interested in the summer course. When we get to September, we've worked on timetables for September, and then the goalposts were changing as we were. So we've probably done up to, I would say, 15 different versions of that timetable. And what we've realized is that we need to wait until we get a better feel for whether the social distancing is reduced to 1 meter, or whether in the case of certain children, social distancing will be removed, because that will impact the numbers and the amount of lessons and the times we put on. So we have to hold off on that and wait until August, I think.
Lovely, thanks, Charlie. So I have a lot about questions regarding going into the changing rooms to help.
Yeah.
But I think we've kind of covered that in the first question.
I suppose just on that, Anna, one thing is we will test it and see how it works the first week. It would be an issue, I suppose, if we had every parent having to go in with their children. But we're hoping from level 4 upwards that, particularly with the higher levels, that children might be able to some children will be able to change by themselves, and we'll just monitor it and see how it goes over the first week.
Lovely, Charlie. So I have another one regarding the bag drop on poolside. Is the bag drop spaced out? Are bags touching each other? Are they significantly got enough space to
so you'll have seen it there that the bag drops at the moment, well, the children will be spaced out going to the bag drop, so the teacher will manage that. But at the moment, with all the bags there, they were touching off each other when we had the children in the other day. So we will either need to we will need to put in another rack there if that's the issue. But the children who came the last day had put there was some big bags there. So we think it's possible with the teacher's help to spread them out. there'll only be 10 bags at each end of the pool basically, and there's 4 levels on the rack, so we should be able to space them out.
There. So this is just regarding the summer course. How do you book the summer classes, and how do you book class times for September sessions?
Okay, so the summer course I think we've probably covered in that the booking for that opens up tomorrow and Wednesday. Yeah. And September, if you're not booked into September already, we're not going to take any more bookings yet. So anyone who is booked in, we've moved that course into September, and we're going to hold off on taking more bookings until we find out what the decision is on social distancing, because there's no point in doing that now, and we will address that in August, hopefully.
Okay, lovely, Charlie. So this lady's wondering in regard to changing a 5-year-old. So I presume when they're coming out of the swimming pool. So where do the adults meet the children? Yeah. So when the children are finished and they need help changing. Yeah.
Now, I'm wondering if that child is 5, is that child in level 4? Well, because
it just is a 5-year-old here.
Yeah. So again, for this summer course, remember it's only level 4 up, but it's possible that a 5-year-old might be in level 4. We have some very good 5-year-olds there. So what the parent will have to do, and that reminds me, I left out the fact that we've left a space in the spectators gallery on the left-hand side when you go in for parents who do need to be present, when their children are swimming. So on the left-hand side, there's space for about 15 people, all spaced out at 2 meters. And then when you want to go and meet your child, you need to go out the side door, which is just around, you come out of the spectators, you turn right, and you walk down to the end. It's what we're calling our gym exit at the moment. You walk out the side door, you walk around to the front of the building and come back in through reception, and then you can walk into the changing room to meet your child.
Okay, lovely. So a question here about SwimFit. Do the same rules apply to the SwimFit classes?
Yeah, so we will have, in the lane setup, by the way, I hadn't mentioned, in the lane setup, we will have 3 lanes with 8 in each group. So we'll have levels 8, 9, and 10, 8 swimmers in each group. In SwimFit, we will also have 3 lanes with 8 in each lane. So we'll have 24 SwimFit, 24 in a SwimFit group. And we'll run more SwimFit classes next week, more than we normally would, to cater for the children who want to do it.
Thank you, Charlie. There's, again, questions regarding watching the kids swim. Is this possible to wait and watch children swimming? Okay,
so we're asking again for children who you think don't require a parent to be there. We're asking parents to consider waiting in their car outside. And for children who do really want their parent there, if you want to be there, we do have 15 viewing spaces. Now, if you take it that in a level 4, level 5, level 6 setup, there's only 20 children with 15 places for parents. And in a lot of cases, we might have 2 kids from the one family in those groups. So we should be able to cater for most people who need to be there, I think.
Okay, lovely, Charlie. Will we still have the same days and times for our September swimming lesson course?
The same days, in most cases, I would say, but not necessarily the same times. I mean, if the 2 meter distancing didn't change, well, then the times would definitely change, because we'd have to put on more classes to cater for everyone. If it comes down to 1 meter, we'll still have to put on more classes, but not as many. So that's why we can't give you that information now. As much and all as we'd love to, it's not possible for us to do that, because we're not the ones in control of the guidelines, and we have to wait and find out and then adapt the timetable if necessary.
Lovely. What if level 3 and under do not start back in September?
Okay, so we're very, very hopeful that they will. We want all the kids back swimming in September. We really do. If it doesn't happen, for whatever reason, and it's put back to the next course, which is December, if that happened, and we really hope that doesn't happen, Two things: you can either hold your place for that course, or if you prefer, we can obviously arrange a refund or a credit. Yeah.
Right. So this is regarding private lessons. Will there be any swim private lessons going forward?
Yeah. Same situation. Private lesson is exactly the same as level 1 to 3. The teacher is very much hands-on. Teachers in the water. We won't have any teachers in the water over the summer. So teachers from level 4 up are all on poolside. So we won't be able to do one-to-ones. Even in the case of a child where maybe the teacher could be on poolside, we won't have the space in our sessions, in our public sessions, and we wouldn't be able to control that lesson if the teacher wasn't in the water with the child. So short-term answer is no one-to-one lessons over the summer, and hopefully all going well, they'll resume with the levels 1 to 3 lessons when they do.
So Charlie, this question's relating to swim vouchers, so it's not specifically for swimming lessons. So it's regarding.
I might pass it to Liam.
If I have a book of adult swim vouchers, how will that work with the online booking for the family swims?
Yeah, we were just discussing that today, and we'll probably release something official later in the week. But at the moment, what we would see happening is that that people that have the book of swim vouchers, that we would have to take those bookings over the phone. And when the people come in for the swim, we would then take the voucher off them. And that's probably the way it's going to work. But we will put that out officially by the end of the week.
So this one's regarding the entrance. Oh, thanks, Liam. Sorry. This is regarding the entrance. Do swim fit members come in the same entrance door as the regular?
Swim fit. Yeah. Everyone in children's lessons, or actually, in case anyone watching, listening, or has a child in water polo or in the swimming club. So any children's lessons or water polo or swimming club, the entrance will be through the far end of, the entrance we showed you earlier on down at the deep end, the left side of the building. Yeah. Swim fit included, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. So this person just wants clarification again on how they book for the...
Do you book which course?
Sorry, I'm just reading. I've read it wrong there. For September 12-week block, do we call tomorrow to book Monday and Tuesday's class level 4? So I think maybe they're a little bit confused that tomorrow they need to read. So maybe just clarify what we're selling this week.
I speak way too fast. So the bookings tomorrow are only for the July-August course, only for the summer course, July-August course. So we're only taking bookings for people who want to start the lessons on Mondays and Tuesdays from next week for 6 weeks. So if we're taking those bookings tomorrow, and then the day after that, we're going to take bookings for anyone who wants to swim on Wednesdays or Thursdays for the next 6 weeks. We're not taking any bookings for September now. We can't do that. And we won't be able to do it tomorrow. If you're booking July, August, we won't be able to book September at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. So this is regarding the swim week block, the back to swimming that's going on in the summer. So if a child, say, was in level 7 and they do this 6-week block and they pass level 7, will they go up to level 8 or will it?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, and I actually, I mentioned that, addressed that in the email this evening. So this is really important because we don't want people to book in and then be disappointed afterwards. We've called this a return to swim course. Children have been out of lessons now for over 4 months. By the time they start back next week, it'll be 19 weeks, I think. And this is a 6-week course. It's not designed to move children up a level. It's to refresh all their skills that they've had before, because really it's a long time not to be swimming. So there won't be an assessment at the end, and there won't be children moving up levels. The levels that the children progressed to or were held in back in for the March course, they will be the levels that they'll be booked into for September. So you can imagine it's going to be very difficult for us to schedule September if we're still operating under social distancing guidelines, and to have to to try and move children up levels and that. It just wouldn't be possible. And also, we don't think it would be fair on the kids to put them through that type of assessment after being off swimming for so long and over a short course. So.
Thank you, Charlie. I've got another question. It's regarding, it was quite similar to the first question that we had. It's regarding the changing room. So currently, they would have had like a male changing room for dads with young girls, and mums could take young boys into the female changing rooms. So this person's just asking, would that be still the case? Like how, if you're...
Yeah, so I'm apologies now because I'm caught off on this, but what we need to do is we need to at the time of booking, we need to find out, I think, is it a male or female dressing room that the children require, you know, if they're going to be changed by a dad, for example, and the girl is under 8 normally, I think she would come in with her dad. So we need to have a think about that, Liam, in terms of, rather than presuming that the girl will be going into a girl's dressing room, we need to look at that. But we'll work that out, and we'll be able to accommodate everyone. We just need to work that out now over the next day or two, I think.
Okay, thank you. Can you just clarify again what days the Swim Fit will be available for the summer program?
Yeah. Actually, let me just hold on now. Can you see that? Can you see that? Yeah. So that's actually the list of classes now. Just we'll leave it up there while we're having this chat. It's the list of classes that was sent out in the email this evening. So Swim Fit will be on Tuesdays at 3:20, Wednesdays at 2:30 and 3:20, Thursdays at 2:30 and 3:20. So there's 5 different Swim Fit classes there.
Thank you, Charlie. So if you had already booked in for September at your chosen time, will you be given the same time or a similar time?
Hopefully the same time, and we'll be trying to make sure that if there's a change, that it won't, you know, that it will be similar. But we can't be sure yet, but we'll do our best. And, you know, of course, then if people it doesn't suit people because they may have other things on, well, then we'll work out, you know, whatever that means, if it doesn't suit you to book in. But unfortunately, we'd prefer to keep the timetable as it is, but it's out of our hands at the moment.
Okay, and this lady is looking just to know that she booked in for the March course. Is she also just enrolled to the September, or does she need to do anything? Does she have to... Assuming
Anna, she's probably booked and paid into March, is that it?
Yeah, so she's prepaid from last term.
So what we've done at the moment there is we've moved that course to September for the same days and times, and her children will be booked into the same days and times at the moment. That's the way it's set up at the moment, and so she doesn't need to do anything. And we'll come back as soon as we know what the situation will be for September. We'll come back to people as soon as we know, and if the schedule is changing, we'll let people know, and then they can decide whether it suits or not.
Yeah, so the next question, you've just answered that. The next question was when will we know? When can you confirm the September time? So you just answered that one in that one.
So again, down to when it's announced by government.
So is there any supervision in the changing rooms?
No, we don't supervise and never have supervised the changing rooms. So that won't be any different than it was before, but we'll rely on, you know, if there are any issues in terms of social distancing and people aren't happy with it, we will obviously rely on the people to inform us, because we don't patrol the dressing rooms ourselves, and we can't do that from a child protection point of view.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. So this is regarding the level 1 and level 3. Do they just need to wait for further news?
Yeah, unfortunately, that we can't say any more than that at the moment. Yeah.
So will we be notified when to call for the September lessons? For
definite, yeah. We'll be communicating all the time. Like, there was a gap from the side, the Swim for Life side. There was a gap there probably in April and May where you wouldn't have heard from us at all. So probably that was, we probably should have got some word out to explain what was happening. But from here on in, you will be kept up to date. So I think we've sent about 4 mails over the last week. If anyone's not getting them, please check your spam box or your junk box. But we're going to keep you updated, and as soon as we have decisions made, we'll let you know for sure.
And just to add on that, if you're not getting the emails, just double check that we have the right email on file for you, because we'll update and then we can keep your communications flowing. So this question here is regarding the number of children. So for the 24 children swimming at one time, is it just first come, first served? How does that work?
Let me see. Explain that to me again, Anna. Sorry, just ask me.
No, it just says that, I think because we said we can have 24 in the pool, that maybe there's 24, but there's a couple of different levels. Is that right for the course? I think it's for the course. Okay,
so for the summer course.
Yeah, I think.
So let's say someone wanted the Monday class at 2:30. That really suited them, and they've got someone in level 4. There'll be 10 places in level 4 on Mondays at 2:30, and there's 10 places in all the level 4, 5, 6, 7 classes. So the first 10 people who book it, yes, will get those places, and then if that doesn't suit, there'll be other options. I think we have about 60 or 70 places there in levels 4 up to level 7. We think that will cater for everyone who wants to book in. Yeah.
So this is regarding the sauna and steam room. Will the sauna and steam room be open during the lessons?
No, the sauna and the steam room and the spa pool will be closed now until for the foreseeable future, I guess. Liam, do you want to maybe just cover that?
As part of the guidelines, we're advised that sauna, steam rooms, jacuzzis should be closed as they're a small space. So obviously to social distancing would probably be impossible in them. So as a result of 2 meters, so we have to keep them closed.
Thank you, Liam. So this is a question. So can the children be told in advance of the swimming lesson which changing room they are allocated, rather than just being told just before they're going into the swim? You know, some children forget.
Absolutely, yeah. So ideally what we should do is I'm trying to think now just how practical this is, but whether we can email people in advance or tell them on the way in on the day. If we have to email everyone, we're talking about, I don't know how practical that is. We'll have to have a think about that one. Our plan had been that we would let the children know on the first day of the lesson what changing room they're going into, either 1 or 2. That was what our plan was. And then they would stay with that changing room. But we do need to reconsider that anyway, in light of the fact that it could be a dad or mom bringing kids, and it could change on a weekly basis. So we have to have a think about that tomorrow.
So double checking here. There's a few more. This one, I think we covered this. It was in regards the back to swim course. If someone potentially moves up a level, will there be a place in September? I think you addressed that in an earlier question.
Yeah.
Let's come in again. Is the family rooms available?
No. We're not planning to have the family rooms available because, again, they would have to be booked separately, and it would be impossible to manage. So people need to know before they come in where they're going. And it wouldn't be possible to manage because there'd be too much demand for 3 family rooms, I think. Like, there may be exceptions, there may be scenarios where we may need to use them. You know, it's if there's a particular reason that someone used the family changing room, then maybe they could just call us directly tomorrow and have a chat about that.
Okay. And again, just someone text there that they just want to clarify, is the summer swim fit to be booked on Tuesday or Wednesday for the summer block? For
swim fit. So if you want to book into the Tuesday swim fit class at 3:20, the booking will open tomorrow. And if you want to book into the Wednesday or Thursday swim fit classes, the bookings will open on Wednesday. So Monday and Tuesday classes open for booking tomorrow, and Wednesday and Thursday on the day after Wednesday.
I'm just checking the chat here, and someone's just asked, will there be classes on the bank holiday Monday?
Our plan is to go ahead with the classes on the bank holiday Monday, yeah.
No, I'm not too sure. I'll read the question, but I'm just not sure here. When booking my child in online, how is any credit due applied to the booking? I'm not sure if that's to do with just family swim or with a...
Just, would you read it back one more time to me, Anna, sorry?
It's just, when booking my child in online, how much is any credit due applied to the booking? I'm just...
Okay, so you can't book children online at the moment anyway. Well, for lessons, it will be done over the phone. Oh, by the way, all lessons need to be booked over the phone, not at the counter at the moment. So we're asking that people would call us. And then if that person was talking about, say, a family swim situation, I wonder, maybe they're inquiring about whether they could use credit to pay for a family swim situation. I'm not too sure, but I think it might be better again that person contacts me directly tomorrow.
I'll just type and find out what that.
Yeah.
Or
I can answer that tomorrow.
On the family room, if you have 3 children lessons at the same time, could you use the family room? So I think you kind of said that you would be.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe someone will have 3 children in lessons, but given that the way the lessons are split out with just level 4 and level 6 together and level 5 and level 7, you know, I don't know if there'll be too many people with 3 children in those 2 levels, but I'm sure we will find ways to accommodate people who need help in that regard. You know, we just have to have a look at it.
That's lovely. And that's all the questions there. Just check the chat again. No, that seems
to be it.
That seems to be it there.
Okay, I know there's a couple of questions there now where you know, we need to get back to you. So anyone who you know, didn't feel they got the answer they wanted there, just feel free to send an email to Charlie at Athlone RSC.ie, or to call here tomorrow and after 9 o'clock, and I'll see if I can help you out then. And we'll definitely come back on the changing rooms question. That's for sure. Thanks to everyone for actually, it was great to get so many questions. It really was, because it's important that everyone, before they make any booking, is comfortable with the setup and that. And that video that we showed earlier on, if you haven't already got it, there was a link to it on the email sent this evening. And there's also, for the ones who like a bit of detail, there was a document as well that gives a little bit more information than the video. And you could just maybe open that up and get the kids to read it, maybe, and it might be helpful. So thanks to all.
Thank you, Charlie.
Very good.
Brilliant, Charlie. Thanks very much. Very in-depth of us. I think that covered everything. And as Charlie said, if anyone has any questions, just to come back to us through Charlie at athlonersc.ie, or by calling us in the morning on 6470975. Thanks also to Anna for taking all the questions and answers and passing them out there. So thanks very much, and we look forward to welcoming you in soon, and hopefully see you all next week at the summer course. Thank you.